5th team was taking on 6th team, and 7th was taking on 8th team. First team sat in the stands as a team. Virtuoso looked at Cosmos drinking a cold soft drink as he sat down. She tried to get information from him, but ended up just touching the mind of one of the other anchors. "You won today?" Virtuoso asked. "I love my new force bubble," Cosmos said. "Share?" Bioforce said as she reached for his drink. "Sure." Cosmos handed the drink to his healer. Bioforce took a sizable drink before Darkspeed took it from her. "I'll have some." Olympian extended his hand and waited for Darkspeed to get done. Olympian left only an inch in the bottom before thinking of others. "You want some?" he asked she. "Gross! I don't drink tap water that I don't know how it's filtered." "I'm not drinking your backwash," she said. Olympian then looked at Virtuoso, who quickly said, "I'm not as thirsty as you. Go ahead." Olympian finished off the drink and then looked to Cosmos. "Can you vaporize this bottle or something? I don't want to litter." "Sure," Cosmos said in a defeated voice. The bottle disappeared from Olympian's hand, and they went on to watch the match. "Well, at least I didn't drink after anyone else," Cosmos thought as he tried to find the bright side. The alphas in the stands attentively watched the match between 5th team and 6th team. Darkspeed was quickly recognizing strategies and tactics used in superhero combat. 6th team was disciplined and fought as a unit. Coach Spurs had drilled them well in how to fight together and protect each other. No one on that team was red-benched. 5th team, however, had Cyber being coached by the sneakiest of stealths, Miss Monet. 5th team also had their secret weapon, IQ. IQ was wearing powered armor like the kind Cosmos wore, but with some kind of flight capability and in-guns built into the forearms. 5th team came out on top of the match while losing half their team to the bench. Darkspeed started to see things the way Connors did. Half your team gone? Not really a victory you could repeat in the real, he thought to himself. 7th team then entered the pit with 8th team. Darkspeed found himself rooting for Saber. Knight was wearing the same kind of armor that IQ had in the previous match. On go, Knight rushed towards Saber with both his in-guns firing at the Arab boy. Saber faced Knight head-on, firing his golden cutting sabers into the face of Knight's helmet while Knight couldn't hit the faster boy. Kron had a larger version of the in-gun, an in-rifle, and started firing at Saber. Saber was in trouble fighting both of them, and Kron ended up winging him. Frost, the anchor from Sweden, fired her ice powers at Saber. He felt frozen to the bone as his nanosuit could not keep all the cold out. Saber was having trouble concentrating past the pain when Kron finally hit him directly with his in-rifle. Saber found himself in the red bench room alone. Anvil and Greco were still fighting it out when Saber was red-benched. Newton was engaged by Gia, and Nano was fighting Shroud. With Saber gone, Kron, Knight, and Frost cleaned up the rest of 8th team. 7th team won the match. "I feel bad for Saber. He's the best on his team and everyone goes for him first," Cosmos said. "Yeah, they triple-teamed him," she said. "I would too," Darkspeed said. "Without him, his team is just 5 supers without direction. 8 and Oracle are not fighters. Maybe they need powered armor or something," Olympian said. "You know, so they can at least not be bench fodder." "Bench fodder?" Virtuoso asked. "Yeah, that's what we hitters call unprotected red shirts. IQ is bench fodder. Now he's a player in the game. So does that make me bench fodder? Your illusions and mind control have enabled you to help, but look at Aid. She's a good healer and an empath. If someone doesn't help her out, she'll be bench fodder for the rest of her time here." "He's right," Darkspeed said. "Virtuoso, see if you can start working on a lighter version of what Knight and IQ wore today. As a side note, if you could get an in-gun that fires really fast, let me know. I'll see if this new schedule gives me enough time," she said. "Listen up," Spurs yelled to the stands. "Healers and brains are free to go and study. Leaders, hitters, stealths, and anchors get in the pit for combat class." "See, you get to go study earlier now," Darkspeed said. "That doesn't mean anything is quick. Only on Star Trek can you remake the entire ship systems in 30 minutes or less." Virtuoso watched Bioforce place a hand on her shoulder, and the two of them teleported away. The remaining 32 alphas jumped into the pit and waited for combat training to begin. Coaches Smith, Hensley, Takada, Monet, Spurs, and Inferno stayed to help Connors with class. Coach Hansen went to help tutor healers with their medical classes. Connors looked around and began. "Okay, welcome to combat class. For the 8 of you who have been here, you understand that this is a rough class and we routinely need healers here. You will break bones and get hurt. On my team, Darkspeed, Olympia, and Cosmos She have all had bones poking out at odd angles. Luckily, we have the healers on call. Your red harness is tuned to only activate to save your life. Otherwise, mistakes hurt. Midas is Cosmos now? Spurs asked. Yes, Midas has a new handle, Cosmos. Now let's break into teams and start form drills. Cosmos found himself looking out the corner of his eye at Glimmer. She was smiling at him, glad he took the name she had given him. Olympian saw this exchange and just rolled his eyes. Maybe a good hit will bring him back to Earth, Olympian thought. Combat class was a little shorter, but more intense with less wasted time. First team and 8th team seemed to be alright with the pace. Many of the members of the other teams looked beyond exhaustion. Remember, some of you still have homework to get done for tomorrow, Connor said to the exhausted group. I know you alphas here are not like normal kids, and you don't need 8 hours of sleep like they do. Still, the other coaches and I have decided on a blanket lights out at 2300 policy. The teams that had matches tonight, get over to the hotel for your dinner. Otherwise, have everything done you need to have done by 2300. You're dismissed. Cosmos started to form his force bubble when he heard a voice. Care to give me a ride? Glimmer said. Sure, Cosmos said, stunned. Glimmer stood close to Cosmos and held his arm. Has anyone ridden with you yet? No. Good, then I'm the first. Connors and the other coaches were talking in the pit when Cosmos and Glimmer took off together. Spurs was the first to address what they saw. Young love? Spurs said as he bumped Connors. It's too early for any of this stuff to start, Connors said. She's just marking her territory. That is one girl who knows what she wants, Miss Monet continued, and she isn't too shy about going after it. It's not funny. I don't want complications. I can put it into it, Smith said. No, that would just make more complications. I'll talk to my anchor and make sure things don't get out of hand. Now, when would all of you like to meet about what we're going to teach in combat class? I just want to make sure we all have the same goals for our alphas. My goals are your goals. I mean, we all want them to be trained in the best way, Spurs said. Anytime, Smith said. How about getting together in the hotel after the match dinner? Miss Monet said as she looked around for disagreement. If no one says no, it's tonight at 21:30, Connor said as he looked around. Okay, see you then. After dinner, first team went about getting their homework done. Cosmos could tell his mind was working faster as he finished his studies just behind She. Darkspeed had finished before the others were out of the shower and was gone. Olympia, with his enhanced speed, still had to put in close to an hour for his studies. Joseph, are you busy? Darkspeed said from behind Cosmos as he put his books away. No, I just finished my homework and it's just after 8. I made my vid phone call home this morning. I don't even know what I'm going to do with free time, Cosmos answered. I have an idea. Come with me, Darkspeed said as he led Cosmos out of the first team dorm. Remember when you made this pavilion? Cosmos looked around at the main street pavilion that he and Virtuoso originally created. The splendor of the creation was still there, except there were people sitting around using it. Alphas from all different teams were sitting around and doing homework. One of Echo's duplicates was running the coffee bar and another one was at the ice cream stand. The whole idea of this being the main street all the alphas could relax in was happening. We have a special request for a few games on the other side of the pavilion, Darkspeed said. Like what? Pool tables, foosball, air hockey, darts, stuff like that. Why not video games? Coach said no video games until after Christmas, remember? Yeah, still. The other games shouldn't be too hard. Where do you want them? Darkspeed showed pictures of what he wanted and where Cosmos was to place the new games. In no time at all, the alphas had an old-fashioned game room. Alphas who had been talking moved into the game room and started using the new games. See? Now we have a social place to relax together. Darkspeed was happy with his idea. This looks like a good use of space. Virtuoso and I made this place so big, you can almost put a theater in here. Would you like to play? Darkspeed said as he picked up a pool cue. No, I have some reading I want to do. Thanks for asking, though. Cosmos walked back to the first team dorm and looked at the common room. The pace at Alpha had slowed enough that he had a chance to look at the room he had created. This Arabian palace-inspired room with its gold leaf and bright colors seemed more vibrant. As Cosmos entered his own room and looked around at the French decorations and splendor, he felt it again. He was appreciating his surroundings and liking what he saw.